Gentlemen, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wherever you are across the world, welcome to On the Sofa with Esther. Well, today I have with me Jeffrey Daniels from Shalamar. Shalamar, take it to the bank. Uh, Jeffrey, just want to say thank you for your time.
My time is your time, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I remember interviewing you many years ago, and it was always a privilege then, and as it is a privilege now. And
Wow.
Jeffrey, what I always like to ask my guests, who is Jeffrey in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a coconut shell? Who is Jeffrey Daniel?
Wow. We got an assortment of shells to choose from.
Absolutely.
But basically, I'm just someone who is very blessed to be here in this experience that we're calling life, in this realm that we are, experiencing it in.
Mhm.
And it's just my endeavor to just spread love, try to make love great again. I love entertaining. I love sharing my talents with people. I love sharing my knowledge with people. I love sharing my heart with people. I love life. I love nature. I love this existence. And I think at this point in my life, because I'm older now, obviously, I think I would like to dedicate my energies into trying to make it a better experience for the newer generations to come.
Excellent. I love that because that's a real holistic take on life and of life. Music, the vibration of music is not just that we do this to it, but there is a vibration around music. There's a message in not just the songs, but in the music, the notes, the harmonies, all of that is an energy thing. And I'm sensing that's what you are about.
That's what it is. That's all. Everything in this universe is about vibrations and frequencies. And that's what it's all about. And music, as you're so spot on. And music are all these different frequencies that are coming to people.
Mm.
And these frequencies affect us because inside of us are all of our, cells and all of our molecules and all these things. They're all vibrating. We don't see it, but they're vibrating, holding it all together. And these vibrations do affect. Everything is connected. It's all connected. And we're connected to the entire universe. And most people don't even realize it,
Yeah. And then that goes back to what you were saying, you want to share and spread love because that is the vibration that's going out from you. And
Yeah.
that is a very powerful place to be within yourself and for what you want to share with the world. And so moving on a bit, Shalamar, one of the founding members of Shalamar, you've been around for a long time, and I feel there's many more years in you left to go. What is it that you feel has kept Shalamar together in terms of what Shalamar represents?
I would say what has kept us together or what is keeping us together because we're not the same Shalamar. Jody Watley didn't return with us, but it's for myself. It's the love of the legacy because we left such a good legacy. We have a legacy of hits. Like when we're putting a show together, we have to say, okay, what songs are we going to put? We're fortunate enough to have that many hits to select from, and the integrity that we laid with our performances. Not to blow our own horn, but we put together good, proper shows, real shows, because I started off dancing on the Soul Train television show, and I got the experience of, entertaining, how to put a show together. And we have a very tight band, so our arrangements are very nice. It's a really good show. If I must say so myself, it's a really good show.
Fantastic, fantastic. And how's the dancing nowadays? I remember when I interviewed Howard last week, and then I mentioned, I think I was interviewing the lead. I always forget his name. Why do I do that? The lead from the OJs, and also
Eddie Levert.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also when I interviewed the 3 Degrees, and they were always joking that as you get older, to be able to sing and do your your movements at the same time, it gets a little hard. So, for yourself, predominantly being a dancer, how have you managed to keep yourself fit to still be able to, do all the moves that you do? And I'm sure that we're going to be quite pleasantly surprised.
They might be, because it's not that I'm doing anything so specific, But from time to time, I tell myself, okay, make sure you stretch, make sure you do this. But it's just no real regiment that I go through. But it's about my lifestyle. That's what it is. Because
Yeah.
I stay away from the bad things, and I try to. Uh, when I say try to, I would be referring to more like foods, things like that. But like I stayed away from the bad things. I never started smoking. I never really started drinking.
Mm,
Uh, Now that we're getting older, trying to cut down on the red meats too much and
mm.
things like that. And it's not like I'm a vegan or going out on my way to be, overly healthy or anything like that. But I'm just trying to maintain myself, my body, my
Yeah.
temple.
Excellent. Excellent.
And
Excellent.
then the mentality,
Yeah.
keeping your mentality, stress free. Of course, things are going to come along in life that we can't avoid, but it's how you deal with these things, and then
Mm.
how you keep your sanity and how you keep yourself intact, and don't let these things bend you out of shape and turn you into something that you don't want to be or you shouldn't be.
Wow, but can I just ask, that being an entertainer and being on the platform that you're on, there's always lots of different pressures. You've got the media and all those various things. So, what is your go-to place? What does Jeffrey Daniels do when he is being a little? Oh,
I don't really have those moments, but
okay, sorry.
I'm very simple. Practicing my guitar, staying at home, going to the cinema. I love children. I play with children. I have a new daughter. She's a year and 9 months old in Nigeria now. And
Oh,
that's my best buddy. And she's just like, she's got my heart on a string. And just watching her grow and learning life through her eyes, and seeing how she's, learning the world around her. And
nice.
it's, um, I'm in London. If I have time off, I'll go to Hyde Park and go for a walk, or just go walking through, looking at the buildings. Or if I meet someone, I stop and I speak. I've never got so caught up into being
Okay,
an entertainer
excellent.
that I feel that, oh, I have to act like a star. I have to. People who've ever met me on the streets or wherever, they know that, I'm an accessible person, because I am a person, and we're all in this congregation of life together. And I don't think me being a celebrity means if I go to the club, I need to sit in the VIP and separate myself from everyone. But these are the things that people strive for, because they
Yeah,
think that illusion is real, but it's not real. It's
yeah.
fleeting, very fleeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to, wind down shortly, but you brought out a track, Back to That World. And it was really interesting because when I was sort of meditating prior to this, in terms of what I was going to talk to you about, what I got was, about the pandemic. How did you experience that? And I listened to your track, Back to the World, which is very much about us coming back into our humanity, us, holding on to the things that makes humanity human, holding on to all those things about, what what the pandemic meant, but also our place in the world, that our significant place as human beings in the
Mm.
world, and it being around love. That was a very poignant song. So could you just share a little bit more about that track, Jeffrey?
First of all, thank you very much for even noticing it and mentioning it. That means so much to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And because I made this song for everyone, for people to help us just stop for a while and just like just to reflect on where we are and how we got here and what we're doing here. Now look at the world around us, and look at who is more, I could say, predominantly created this world around us and our place in the world. Now there are people. That's all it is. It's just people. But
Mm,
certain people have taken certain hold on certain things and put other people in certain positions for their own gain.
mm,
That is what's throwing everything off, because it's not natural. Like they say, if you go to a zoo and you see a polar bear in the zoo,
mm,
they try to recreate that environment to look like his natural environment, or else he would go insane. So they have ice there, or they have water there, or they at least paint it white, or try to keep it cool, or these things for the lion or whatever. They try to recreate their natural environment. So we are sentient beings as well, and
Mm-hmm.
we are not in our natural environment necessarily. So we're in another environment, but is that environment conducive to our sanity, to our
Growth.
way of life, to
Mm-hmm.
our existence? But yet we're trying to make it natural.
Mm.
And so when I say go back to the world, I'm saying let's go back to the state of existence that we were meant to be. What was your DNA code created for you to be? To go to work from 9 to 5 every day? This vast universe is so big that we can't even measure it. And you think that we were placed in this universe just to appease some Fortune 500 company, or to work from 9 to 5 just so that we could pay taxes and pay bills and pay for rent and this stuff? This is what humans are imposing on ourselves. It's now how we can undo all of this, I don't know. But just the way that we are existing is so unnatural for us. And that's why we have all these sicknesses and diseases, mental problems, depressions. I'm not trying to sound dismal, but this is the reason why all these things are upon us, because we're not living the way we were meant to be. And we need to get back to the world as best we can. Now, of course, we're not just going to jump up and dismantle everything suddenly
Mm.
and go native, but we can incrementally implement steps to get us back to where we really need to be. I'm living in Nigeria now. I was born and raised in America. My mother and father were born and raised in America. My grandparents, but at some point, my ancestors came from America, and they were taken over to America. I mean, they came from Africa and were taken over to America. And now that I'm living in Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
in a tropical climate, closer to the equator, where we don't have these winters like they experience in the northern hemisphere, and I'm getting the sun all year round. The DNA in my body is being nourished by the vitamin D coming from the sun straight naturally, and I feel so invigorated. You know, I have not had a cold in 5 years.
Wow.
I have not had a cold in 5 years. Just through the whole pandemic that came, it wasn't until the end of last year that I got that Omicron, and it lasted about 4 days or something like that. Boom,
Mm.
gone,
Mm.
gone. And you know, and a lot of us were getting sick is because we're not keeping our immune system strong.
Topped
And
up.
that's what the
Absolutely.
problem is.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is. So when you're taken away from your natural environment, then you start uh, falling victim to a lot of these things that are just not natural for you. And so, but we still are so resilient. We find a way to survive, but then we're not surviving at our fullest capacity. So then
Mm.
we succumb to some of these things that come along. Because think about it. Melinda Gates, Bill
And
Gates' wife.
yeah.
She said when COVID goes to Africa, there's going to be bodies laying in the street. There's going to be millions of people. Well, people, I hate to tell you this, but within this 3 year time, Nigeria has a population of over 200 million. Only 3,000 deaths are reported in all that time. And there were one time when there were 3,000 deaths a day in Italy, or 3,000 deaths a day
Yeah.
in America,
Yeah.
and all that. It never happened.
Mm. You know that's something powerful there, and I know we can talk forever, but you mentioned too survival and existence, and you know it just brought me back to you talk about being outside our natural environment, and then it just took me back to you know, I asked you about the essence of Shalamar before. So the essence of Shalamar, I believe, in terms of the work that you're doing, the songs that you're singing, even your own solo projects, is to help to reignite that hope within people to keep spreading. You talk about spreading the love because
Yes.
not everybody's going to understand it. And I do believe that there are messengers down here on earth. I know people, I know, you know, very philosophical, but you know, there are messengers or angels down here on earth sent to be like the light, the beaming light, to show others, okay, it's difficult, it's hard, but you don't need to live this way, you don't need to be this way. And so when you get up on stage, when you guys get up on stage, you know, just by what you do for a lot of people, you know, nostalgia, reminiscence, it takes people back into that feel good, happy place. And so you're doing your part as musicians, as entertainers, as artists, but also you're bringing your humanity into what you do, because it's all about love. And you can take that to the bank, Jeffrey, and keep it.
Thank you very much. You're so perceptive. You're getting it. You're getting it. And also another thing that helps, because if you listen to our songs, if it's I Can Make You Feel Good, if it's a night trigger, if it's for Take That to the Bank, or This Ring Is for the Lover in You, even though you're dancing to it and the hook is catchy, but when you listen to the lyrics, these are things that people can make applicable to their lives.
Absolutely.
It's something that is people can relate to it, and that's why they're still coming back.
Yes.
And that's why they're bringing their kids, bringing their grandkids, because that, like you said, and I call it feel good music too. You're so spot on, and I also call it feel good music, because the people are up dancing and it makes them feel good, and it takes them back to that time where they were in their lives and what they were doing when that music came on. And the biggest compliment I ever could have gotten is, I know that the music of Stevie Wonder, the Jackson 5, Marvin Gaye, Paul McCartney, I can say that music is the soundtrack to my life. When a person came back and told me that, wow, you know, Shalamar's music is like the soundtrack to my life, I'm like, oh my God, because that's what I was getting from those artists.
Yeah.
And that was one of the greatest, excuse me, sorry, that's one of the greatest compliments I'd ever received. And I honor it so much that I hope that I can live up to that expectation and continue to keep that going like that.
Fantastic. And that's been a nice ending to the interview. It's almost like it's just went the soundtrack to life. I just love it, love it. And you know, thank you so much for your time, Jeffrey. I know you must have an intense schedule, but I know I'd love to speak to you about life and, you know,
let's keep in touch.
We must do, because I can see this conversation in another setting, because it's not about existing, it's not about survival, but it's about living. And that's yes, the soundtrack to life. And your message.
You know,
go on, sorry.
So would you? I don't mean to interrupt you, because I'm not interrupting you. I'm reiterating what you're saying so that people could get. You know what you said about it's about what you say, living. It's not just existing. It's about living. People think because they got a car that costs so much money, or they're wearing a piece of clothing that has a certain designer name on it, they are now equating that to living. That's not living. That's not living. It's if you can't be a service to humanity and a service to this existence that we're in, then you're not living. That's not living. And you're right. You're so smart. We have to talk. We have to keep in touch.
Definitely. I will speak to Craig. But it's been a real privilege. And I'm hoping to see you guys when you next perform. I will be there, and be nice to come and grab a picture or two.
We'll talk. We'll even have a chat then. Yeah, let's do that, please.
We'll do. So, Jeffrey, wishing you all the best. And I know that what Shalamar is going to bring to London is going to be something, as always, awesome, as you guys say in the States. But
thank you very much.
And we're just going to have a bag of fun as well. That's all part of it as well. So thank you very much. I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.